The next point that I wanted to raise with you, Jonathan, is Rafiah, or as the Arabs refer to it as Rafah. From everything that we hear on the news, a second offensive against Hamas has now begun. The very thought and the fact that this is a second round, as it were. In other words, these are areas that were conquered, and all Hamas elements were supposedly removed, and now the Israeli army has to go in again and do it all over again. This itself is outrageous, I feel, and I doubt that you will disagree with me about that. But beyond that, how do you think the current offensive will play out?
First of all, the fact that we have to launch a second campaign to conquer Gaza and eradicate Hamas was due both to the Americans and the Israeli high command and government. We lost our focus, care of the Israeli left, and their use of the hostage crisis as another means of unseating the Netanyahu government and changing the focus of our campaign to rescue these hostages rather than destroying Hamas. So under American pressure, we withdrew almost all of our forces from Gaza. And during that time, those Hamas terrorists who were stay-behinds in the tunnels came up, and thousands more came back from the south because there was no one to stop them. So this is how we have this reoccurrence of rocket attack on places like Sderot and other cities. So we have to understand that this is like mowing the grass, an analogy that I've used to explain one of the serious problems with the Israeli military establishment. So I think right now, the fact that we have to go back again and reestablish control of areas that had been previously, we thought, cleansed of Hamas, I think shows that we need a total change in the Army High Command. They have shown a gross dereliction of duty by not keeping forces in Gaza and finishing the job, by not concentrating the Gaza in one area on the coast where they can be corralled, if you will, and prepared for departure if necessary. So now we're in the process of attacking Rafah, and we have a fire behind us in Khan Yunis and in Gaza City. And this is all of our doing. And I'm scared that we're going to be losing a lot of good men and women trying to correct a mistake that both the high command and the government made by acceding both to America's demand, both to reduce our presence in Gaza prematurely, and to concentrate our efforts on providing humanitarian relief, parenthetically, not to the Gazans, but to Hamas. And it's ironic that the United States is kicking up a fuss right now over efforts made by our good citizens to prevent the humanitarian aid from reaching Hamas unless and until our hostages are either released or given appropriate care, when in fact the Hamasnikim have been hijacking all this aid, and you can see it in any video you want. I mean, it's on YouTube even. You can see it, and the Americans will simply refuse to acknowledge the fact that it's occurring. So I think we should just cut to the chase right now and just simply say, no more humanitarian aid. That's it. It's finished until this war is finished. I mean, we're beyond saying, for example, unless the hostages are released, because it's quite clear that with America now, the Biden administration supporting Hamas, fully supporting Hamas right now, we're not going to get them out. So we just have to prosecute the war as hard as we can, to put the knife, if you will, up against the Hamas leadership's throats, and to stop the humanitarian aid right now. This is insane. No other country in the world has allowed aid to its enemy in time of war. That's the bottom line. And we have either mentally defective politicians running this country or traitors. Those are the two choices.
I personally opt for the latter explanation.
I do. Look, I do too.
And cowardice, as you mentioned before.